Welcome to the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. Discover with us and enjoy our holistic resources. Join us weekly on Wednesdays for our live talk show discussing the topics central to maintaining the holistic lifestyle you want. Each week we bring on leaders, product providers, and educators to enlighten and empower your natural journey in wellness. Let us begin. Welcome to another fabulous Wellness Wednesday here. We're broadcasting live from Interlight Radio, known as the Healing Frequency. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We're here each and every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. Our Facebook page is Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. Once again, Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. Our website is createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, createyourholisticlifestyle.com. There you can see our co-hosts. You have our past shows there. If you have some things you want to work on your health, there's some great choices there for you to choose from. All right. With that being said, boy, it's been crazy out there. Dr. Rabb, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I had a good program this morning and shared some knowledge as I normally do. So I'm ready. I'm ready to go with whatever.
You got a big thing happening in Los Angeles today. They're going to be voting on that being vaccinated to go anywhere, huh? They're doing that today? I think they are.
I really don't know. I don't even keep up with that mess.
Yeah, I think that they're doing that today. So it'd be pretty interesting to see what they come up with on that. All right, Dr. Franc, how you doing?
I am doing amazing on this sunny day in Toronto.
Yeah, you just had a birthday too, didn't you?
I did. And what's actually, what's really fun about that is, so my birthday was yesterday, and our guest today, Steve, his birthday was actually the day before. So You've got the double birthday celebration in the house.
Everybody is at their peak.
Happy birthday.
So let me tell you, what does a healthy gal like yourself eat on your birthday? I'm just curious, just a little pry, a little dig.
Whatever the heck she wants.
All right. Hey. Realism, grab that lobster by the
neck. What I did eat, though, I made myself, I've been just having this amazing just craving for all types of seafood. And so
lobster.
Yeah, actually, it was scallops.
Oh, that's even better.
Yes, they're like little candies of the sea, right? So I had my scallops, and then I had my broccoli and my green beans, which are some of my favorite vegetables, and I was just a happy, happy woman.
You know, if Fred goes somewhere and they can do the mussels with the pasta and a good wine sauce, I am just in heaven.
That's exactly it. Got to have a little bit of the wine sauce with the scallops as well, and very important. Yeah.
I won't even ask you what you tell yourself when you're doing things like this. It's my birthday. It's my birthday.
Enjoy it and go for it. So here's my dirty little secret. I have actually spent my entire career perfecting how to get like those lean ripped abs, like those 6-pack abs, without having to kill myself, without having to starve myself, count calories, weigh macros, or be in the gym ridiculous amounts of the time. Can't do that. And I've done it. I figured out the formula. So I actually know how to develop, and this is what I actually teach my patients, how to develop what I call metabolic flexibility, which means you eat in a certain way, but then every once in a while you go off the rails, like literally off the hook, because you've got to stimulate the body. It's like, and Steve will probably tell you this too, when you work out your muscles, you don't stick with the same routine all the time. You have to challenge the body. And so the weight loss industry has everything backwards. People counting calories, that's just garbage. Throw that out. That's like medieval. And so we starve ourselves thinking we have to have less calories and we have to exercise more. And the body is just going into starvation mode and freaking out. It doesn't like when things stay the same. It's like, oh, this must be a dangerous time. So you put on more weight. Awful.
You know, a lot of people, they don't like to lessen food and things like that and eat a certain way because they figure if they don't have a bowel movement, nothing's coming out. They figure, where's it all going?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, some people are really comfortable going to the bathroom, especially as they get older. They can read the paper, they can talk on the phone there. I mean,
Learning language.
It becomes a social place.
You're crazy.
Oh,
boy.
Yeah, but it's true in a lot of cases, That's one of the biggest fights in the marriage is the guy can't get enough quiet time for himself.
Or then read the newspaper.
Oh, for sure. Just learn a new language.
One thing that, some people, they just, that's one of the things. So once you're able to get past that, I guess, or get comfortable with the liquid bowel movement, I think that, be okay. I think, Dr. Rabb, you might be a little too close to the mic. I might want to check your adjustment on that so far as how close it is to you. I just got a little beat from Jamal. I guess that's one thing you got to get over is some people are just used to certain things,
Well, and they shouldn't be. You should feel healthy, happy, optimal, vibrant. You should be pain-free. You should be having good bowel movements, normal ones, not too little, not too much, like good, solid. FLFs, like the foot-long floaters, right? That we say these are the good bowel movements. You should be having that, and you should feel as energetic and wonderful and amazing at 40, 50, 60, 70 as you did when you were in your 20s or 30s. Like we age too fast, and we don't have to be that way.
Well, next month we're going to get into a whole big show on the gut, and we're going to get into that because let me tell you one thing. I know mine is jacked up. I need some pointers. We're going to get into that because a lot of people don't realize what's going on in there, and if you got certain parasites and things like that, you got to figure out how to regulate it. And, if you are leading light, how many days, you go without possibly having bowel movement, that bothers a lot of people. So we'll get into all those things, but we definitely have to cover it because people just don't know how to feel.
And I think we've got a couple of good guests that can help us with that too. I know Dr. Geraldo is going to be on. Andy Muto at some point is going to be on. We've got Brad King coming on as well at some point. So we've got a lot of good stuff coming up.
Yeah, it seems like I'd have something you ought to go in there that would just go in there and act as like a foaming agent or something and just blow up. And just
Liquid Drano?
Well, it might exist. I mean, I know about it.
Listen, it's called fix the underlying root cause. And I think that's what most people miss. You can walk into a health food store and there could be like about 18 to 20 different products that can be good for, moving the bowels or cleaning out parasites or cleansing the bowels and you have to know what is your objective. And then at the end of the day, what actually is the root cause? Because if you don't heal the root cause, it doesn't matter what you do. It's just temporary. So, and if you have
get into blood tests and stuff like that, a lot of people go and get their blood test, and then when I go to a naturopath, I always say, take a look at this. What should I be checking off that insurance will pay for, whatever. We ought to go into that a little bit too sometime. I think we should cover it.
Yeah.
What's added to there that even though your physician may not understand, at least you get two different thought processes on it. So these are some of the things I want to kind of get into.
It's interesting that you say that because I was just speaking to a patient of mine last night and she's pregnant. And, she was saying during the pregnancy, she's like, I'm not feeling right. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling run down. These things are going on. And she was saying actually, since her first child, she said she couldn't really quite lose the weight and she's gained an inappropriate amount of weight for her body size and type during the pregnancy. So I said, here's some blood tests that I'd like to see. You're going to see your OBGYN, just talk to your OBGYN, your midwife, and see, if they're willing to run it. And they gave her a hard time. And at first they were saying, well, we don't need to run this because, it's going to change during the pregnancy. Ran it anyways, and there were some things that came back abnormal. Iron was abnormal, vitamin D was abnormal, and a hormone called prolactin was abnormal. And I'm like, okay, so this... we needed to know about this. Yes, these will change during the pregnancy, but that doesn't mean that you don't screen it. It's really important stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like if they don't, that's not something I regularly do. And if someone if they're smart enough to inquire about it, then you should say, okay, yeah, well, we'll go ahead and do that. I mean, after all, they're not footing the bill for it. These are the kind of things that kind of get me upset when I go see somebody, you know. Tell you, Dr. Rabb, it just really makes me upset.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
and sometimes the insurance companies are running the show.
Yeah.
See if I'm okay with where I'm stationed now.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine, Doc. Okay. You know, I was watching the movie The Firm last night, and it kind of reminded me of the vaccine people, you know. Then I turned around and I watched the Titanic, and I said, God, these are both versions I can see, I can relate to the vaccines, you know. The Firm running everything, and the Titanic, you know, the people trying to jump, they're trying to save and shoot you. They don't want you in the boat too fast. Just my own crazy thoughts. All right, this is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We are live. If you'd like to call in, you have a question for our guests or co-hosts, the call-in number is 310-928-7733. Once again, 310-928-7733. We'll be right back with our featured guests for today.
Meet me in the marvelous St. Martin for an evolution into self-love and soulful living. Hi, I'm Bernadette Davies, founder of Agape Holistic Retreat in St. Martin and around the globe. We're an all-inclusive retreat in St. Martin and private retreats and around the globe. It's magical. www.agapeholisticretreatsxm.com. Attunement, enhancement, alignment. www.agapeholisticretreatsxm.com. Meet you in St. Martin.
My name is Michelle. I am the beauty boss of A More Beautiful You with Jaffra Cosmetics. What is so wonderful about Jaffra is that it is an essential business and fits into everyday needs for everyone in your family. Jaffra offers over 500 products within 4 departments, and they are, department number 1 is our skincare department with our 5 exclusive Royal Jelly skincare lines powered by our Royal Jelly RJX technology. Number 2 is our on-trend gorgeous color and makeup line, a must-see. Number 3 is our fragrance from the world's top perfumers. And department number 4 is our body care for the entire family. Just added is our daily advanced hand sanitizers in 2 sizes. I invite you to visit my website to see more of A More Beautiful You with Jaffra. My website is www.amorebeautiful-u.com. That is www.amorebeautiful-u.com. Thank you and stay safe and well.
Welcome to the hemp industry, including new product CBD Based Discoveries is here. It is a smart, organic personal care option today. Industrial hemp is one of the fastest growing segments of the wellness industry and is quickly emerging as a lucrative business opportunity for many. This emerging industry strives to create products that are designed to revolutionize the way people care for themselves. These products are well formulated to produce the finest quality of dietary supplements on the market, derived from industrial hemp containing proprietary CBD compounds that help support the body's endocannabinoid system. For more information regarding hemp, nano water soluble CBD, CBD pet care, CBD choices for your complete body, and receive your home delivery, visit the Lifestyle Store at www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, the Lifestyle Store. It's at www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Health is the new wealth. All right, you heard it right here. Health is the new wealth. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. Dr. Franc, would you have the honors of introducing our fabulous guest today?
Absolutely. It is my absolute honor and pleasure to introduce Steve Anderson. We met through an organization called BNI, and we've been, business colleagues for quite some time. But right from the get-go, I knew this was a man of quality and integrity and substance. And then as we got to know each other as friends and on a more personal level, I was just blown away by what Steve has accomplished in his life. So basically, he's an expert at building high holistic high performance teams, developing champion leadership teams, creating winning team culture, peak performance under pressure, and building systems for sustainable excellence. He is an author. He is a motivational speaker. And he actually has coached at 5 Olympic Games. He is the first and only African American to head to be a head coach on an Olympic volleyball team. And basically, he has worked with Olympic athletes for beach volleyball, and he even helped teams win an Olympic gold medal in 2000, bronze medal in 1999, and in 2018, the Commonwealth gold medal, 6 World Championship medals. So, basically he has been the head coach of Volleyball Canada, which where I met him, but is now moving on to head coach the team for the Olympic team for Vanuatu. So really excited to talk to Steve today. And Steve, you have accomplished so much in your life. And I know your passion now is to help in terms of uniting people, helping them to achieve peak performance and follow their passion and purpose. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love you to tell our listeners a little bit about your story. How did you become the great Steve Anderson?
Welcome to the show, Steve.
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much. It's humbling when someone talks about you, but I really appreciate
in such detail.
It's interesting when you hear your story, and
yes,
as an adult, it's really interesting to meet people because they don't know you when you were a little kid and you grew up in the neighborhood and you were aspiring to, and in some cases, people in my neighborhood not aspiring to much. But you're the whole person. And so when you describe what I've done, it's humbling, and it just lets me know how blessed I truly am. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And yeah, my story. So I grew up in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. I was born in 1964, and
great year.
There's no beach at great year. This must be your year. And by the way, I was laughing and learning the whole time during that introduction. You guys are hysterical and full of knowledge, and it was a pleasure just listening. But, there's no beaches in Kentucky. So beach volleyball was never on my radar. I only saw the beach for the first time in L.A. just before my 21st birthday, and I'd never played beach volleyball before. So the fact that I've been to 5 Olympics, and I was just on my 6th Olympic journey with the Vanuatu team. We didn't qualify, but it was such a spiritual journey for me. It's one of my favorite Olympic journeys, even though we didn't make the games. And so this is an interesting thing. I've been in sport, it's 39. Oh, geez, I think it's 39 years now. I've been coaching professional athletes for 31 years, since 1990. And I never knew that I was in the wellness business until a couple of years ago. I thought I was always, in excellence and high performance. And a couple of years ago, I went to a seminar, and it was about wellness coaching. And what I realized is my entire career, I've been helping people develop themselves and discover themselves as champions and take their talents and gifts and contribute to the world. And when you do that, you get excellence, you get high performance, and you often get medals. You get rewarded. But it's not about the outcome. It's about the process. So that's what my life has been about. It's my own personal life journey is, how much can I get out of this life? How much can I contribute? How much can I grow? And how much can I get to know myself and other people? And in the process, take the things that I've been blessed with and get them into the world. So that's pretty much me.
You know what? I find that kind of interesting because you're mentioning Vanuatu, and there's a gentleman called the Medicine Hunter, and he goes around all the different islands and he exposes and shares what the islanders use to stay healthy. and it's very interesting because there's an oil I was telling you about. It's from Madagascar, Tahiti, or Vanuatu, and it's tamarind oil. It's very healing for the skin, and they make a lot of different products. I've got that contact there for you in Vanuatu. But not only that, when you go to the islands, I remember my cousin used to go all the time, and I was wondering why he mellowed out so much. And when I started going to the islands, I started realizing just the energy that you get from the people, the calmness and the realness. I'd have to tell myself I'm coming back to the States just so I didn't get taken advantage of. You know what I mean? Because I
hear you.
So relaxed. So I think you're going to find so much there to complement what you're doing. Once you start getting in those trees and watching what the locals do, I really want to track your journey on that. I think that's awesome.
Well, and this is one of the things that I was blown away with as well with you, Steve, because when we first met and we sat down and you shared with me the Champions Map, one of the things you were really clear about is like, what does success look like? Because what most people think it looks like is this particular goal. And then they reach it and it's so meaningless because it's not really about that. And you spoke to me about legacy, and you spoke to me about defining what real success is within the world. And I think that just falls right into what Johnathan was saying.
That's exactly right, Dr. Val. And, this whole thing about success, I learned that after getting a gold medal, that achievement wasn't success. But up until that moment, I thought, I think like many of us, we have these voids and these wounds, this historic wounds from experiencing the world and making these meanings like, oh, I need to be protected. And we have these wounds. And oftentimes, high achievement comes from trying to prove something or trying to get something fulfilled from an external source. And, I started playing beach volleyball late. I started coaching late. And here I was at the Olympic Games, my second Olympic Games. We already had a bronze medal from 1996 in Atlanta. We're in Sydney, Australia. And here it is, a gold medal. Now I've reached the top of my game, and I didn't feel fulfilled. And I thought this accomplishment, this achievement was going to give me worthiness and, some sort of meaning or something that I couldn't give myself. And all it did was just open up all these new doors. And about 2 weeks later, I realized, wow, it's not going to come from an external source. It has to come from me. Self-love, worthiness. Yeah. And I didn't know how to do that at the time. So here I was in this void of, all this achievement and people patting me on the back and telling me how great I was. And I still had this,
Made you feel uncomfortable a little bit, didn't it?
It's totally uncomfortable. And, people don't prepare you for success. They know how to do the journey. We know how to pursue excellence. And everybody's good about the striving and the chase. But what happens when you actually succeed at a really high level, if you don't already have yourself complete and whole, and you get to that place, it's an empty space. It's a real letdown to get to what you think is going to fill you up, and then realize it doesn't, and think, well, if this doesn't do it, then what will? It's an empty space.
There's a song that actually Rick James produced for the Temptations. When you're standing on the top, there's no place you can really go but down, down, down. They tell you how great you are, a superstar, but do you really have any friends in the end?
Listen to the lyrics, the lyrics.
Yeah, man, that's a very interesting part. And, you got to be careful with your mind, too, because it'll play tricks on you when you're up at that level.
Well, I loved a story that you shared with me before as well, Steve, and that was the story, and I'll bring it back to when Johnathan, when you first came on, and Johnathan was saying, like, hey, you look, sharper than Obama, but you actually have, like, a story about your mindset around Obama, and I would love for you to share that story, because I want people to really understand, like, you have, you talk about, you have to prepare your mind for success and this mindset for what's going to fulfill you. I want them to hear about your journey and the pain that you went through and some of the healing that you went through that helped you to achieve the goals and is weaved into, I think, the processes that you've discovered.
Yeah, thank you for asking about that, Dr. Bell. I wasn't necessarily going to talk about it, but yeah. So, like I said, I grew up in Kentucky. My father was killed when I was 9 years old. And again, I was born in 1964. So when I was growing up, there was this story that any American could be president. And this was promoted all over the U.S. And I believed it. I really believed it. It's like anybody can be president. But in the back of my mind, when I looked at the color of my skin, my brown skin, I thought to myself, no, I can't. That can't be true. So years later, I'm watching President Obama be sworn in, and I'm crying. And I'm crying like a baby. And what I realized was, President Obama is 2 years older than I am. Mm-hmm. And here he is, a black American man being sworn in as president of the United States. And it dawned on me, it was true. President Obama believed it. He believed he could be president of the United States, and he did it. And why didn't I? I'm an Olympic gold medal coach. So what's the difference between that dream and the dream of being president? And, I'm not saying that I wanted to be president. It's a hard job, and I can't believe the amazing job he did at it, him and his family, with the politics and everything that's involved. But just limiting ourselves based on our implicit biases and our history and culture, and we just tell ourselves what we can and can't do. And so it was a really big moment for me watching President Obama be sworn in, reflecting back on my own life and thinking, well, what else have I limited myself from? And again, it sent me on another quest. It's like, okay, well, what's really there for me that I'm not even addressing because I have these barriers, these subliminal barriers, subconscious barriers that prevent me from even trying.
Absolutely. And I think you've successfully weaved a lot of that, a lot of what has helped you to unblock yourself in your Champions Map, as well as in the books that you've written. I'd love for you to share a little bit about that with our audience.
Yeah, so the Champions, everything that I've created in my life is my life. It's just everything I had to do to just move forward in life. And one of the blessings that I have and the gifts that I have is being able to unpack it and to put it into a system so that it's something tangible and something that other people can use, something I can use and something others can use. And that's how I've built my coaching and consulting and everything that I do is it's really, well, how does life really work? How do we really work? And how can we put it in a system so that we can get command performance and performance under pressure? And so that's what I've really looked at. And the Champions Map is one of those systems, one of those processes. It's come from so many different sources, but where it really became crystallized for the first time, I was coaching the Australian women's team, Natalie Cook and Kerry Podhorst, their beach volleyball team. 1995 we started, and I said we got a bronze medal in 96 and a gold in 2000. Well, after the bronze medal, we knew that it was mental. We had skill, but when it came to the semifinals in Atlanta, for us to go into the gold medal match, it was just too overwhelming. Our identities didn't match, and we choked. And you can't see that coming because you don't really know yourself until you're in the moment being tested. And you can do really well with no pressure. We can all do really well with no pressure. But as soon as your safety's threatened, and you can, this put me on a journey to study things like Polyvagal Theory with, Stephen Porges, who, really popularized that. Is how do I show up in the moment? And what I realized was this is not a mental thing. This was a nervous system thing. I'm in my lizard brain, trying to get out of here. And so we choked. And we knew we had to do something. And so we expanded our team. We brought Phil Moreland, he was a physiotherapist, but he was really an expert in planning and putting programs together. We brought on Keurig Ashley, who had worked 7 years with Anthony Robbins, and he came on as our success coach, our middle coach, and we put together this team of champions. And with this team of champions, we spent so many, 3 years. It took us about a year to put the team together, and we spent the next 3 years really challenging ourselves to get inside of ourselves and really be able to face moments that had terrified us. We didn't know that we were being terrified. We had all this ego, and we were skilled, and we were knowledgeable, and we were experienced. We had results. So we believed that when the pressure was on, we would show up. And that's why you can't really see these meaningful moments. You can't really see that, you're not going to perform, is because it feels like you're prepared. But when it's your safety on the line, when you mentally or emotionally don't feel safe, you can't even access your prefrontal cortex. You can't access your training. And that's why I've come to this conclusion, and it's helped me be successful in everything that I do, but especially in high performance coaching. It has to be holistic. It must be holistic. You can't have certain areas of your life starving or so unhealthy that when you need to have command performance, that other thing is pulling at you and threatening you. And so that's where this whole journey of holistic high performance started. And the Champions Map is the actual system that I use. It has so many different pieces in it. I can't, go through them all. Reticular activating system, the Polyvagal Theory, there's law of attraction. There's all these things that are put into this system, and formal goal setting, gap analysis. All of these things come together in this system, and it's what I use for my Olympic planning. And that's where it really came, became tangible, was the first time that I really put it on paper and turned it into a real system was for our Olympic journey leading into the Sydney Olympics. And it showed up as a gold medal.
Well, so that being said, sorry, Don, take us through maybe 3 basic points when you meet someone to get something going. You start with their health, then their mind, and then the performance or structure of what they're going to be performing. Just give us a little bit on that particular piece. Because a lot of times people start at different points with individuals, but you have a lot of experience. I'm just curious. When you look at someone or athlete, where do you normally start? Or you just start by listening and then figure out from there? Because each person is different.
Yeah, I'm known for working with not the obvious champions. You can call them underdogs or whatever you want. I don't necessarily think they're underdogs, but people might say that. It's like I'm working with Vanuatu. I've been working with them since 2009 and going back. It's not so. Where I start with people is their character. Mm. You can't.
That's good.
People can develop character, but you can't really teach it. People choose to have character, the type of character that they have. Mm-hmm. And this is besides sports, I've owned a record label, I've had an events company, restaurant. I've had all this other experience outside of sport, and it's all the same, whether it's business, whether it's sport, whatever it is, it's all the same. The champion people get champion results. So it's all about who you are as a person, and then that gets reflected in your business, in your organization. So you have to be healthy as a person, and this is the crazy thing about it. The more results you get, the more challenges you get. So it's not like you arrive at this place where life is breezy and easy. No, you just take on more responsibility. More people look to you for, experience and advice, and you just have more. You're playing a bigger game. So the investment's bigger, the return's bigger, but the challenges are also bigger. So
that would make perfect sense.
Say that again?
Yeah, so that makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense when you think of it like a logical person, but you don't think that way.
When you're in it.
Emotional. Yeah, we don't think that way, especially when you desire something. When you really want something, you're not logical. You're emotional. And so it's really difficult. When you first meet someone, this is one of the things that I realize. People who are superstars and world beaters start in the same place as underachievers. They are people with talent, with extraordinary talent. And the only reason why we label someone as an underachiever is because we can recognize their talent, but we can also recognize the fact that they can't utilize their talent to create anything, not consistently.
Well, and this is the interesting question that I think has been coming up for a lot of people lately, and the conversations I've been having with my patients, because, right now with respect to what's out there in the ethers, there's a lot of people living in fear. And so what we see is people acting in certain ways where people are getting very hurt and very wounded or very frightened, and they're not acting in ways that I think that would be their highest self, right? And so the question that I'm having for people is, okay, so this guy was an idiot, or this person, said something that was out of line, or they acted in a way that was very aggressive. Is that who they are, or is that who they're being in the moment? And how do we pull people out of that? And I think that's the question that should be on everybody's mind for their own life. Who am I being in this moment? Who am I really?
Yeah. So that's such a great point and a great question. So right now I'm president of a nonprofit called Small Businesses Essential United, and we're focused on business, or we're actually focused on the intersection between health and economy. You can't separate the two. But
no, you can't.
What's underneath it all? Yeah, you can't. What's underneath it all is mental, emotional, spiritual, and social wellness. And we are seeing it through this pandemic. You couldn't have described it any better. People, and my answer to your question is yes and yes. This is who they are. This is who they are under these circumstances, under pressure.
Yeah.
And the only issue right now is that the pressure is not relieving.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to be an end in sight at the moment.
Dr. Rabb, do you have any questions at this point? Anything you want to share?
No, not really. I'm just listening. It's everything sounds very good to me. It's positive, very positive.
Well, I'm going to say something that may sound crazy to all of you. I'm just going to say it. I think through this pandemic, people have just developed a couple of more personalities. I mean, that's what I think.
Well, we're definitely giving a lot more attention to personalities that didn't get a lot of airtime.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Bowel was saying, right? So
because all of a sudden everybody started podcasting and going live, and I mean, I don't even think they were knowing what they were saying half the time. I was going, "Is this who you are? This is crazy,"
Yeah.
So go back to there's the Polyvagal Theory stuff coming through, right? So it basically, just think about it. You're either going to run, you're going to fight, or you're going to freeze. So it makes perfect sense that with all of the uncertainty, with all of the isolation, and even before that, politically, with all of the separation that's been happening, it makes perfect sense that people are fighting, freezing, and running. And the thing about, and this is, so one of the things, Johnathan, you asked me about where I started. My starting place has about 6 different elements in it. So I can't, and it's systematic, but I don't want to go through the whole process, but I'm pulling out little pieces. And one of the first things I do is I demystify the journey. Because people think they want to be gold medalists until they see the list of what you have to do. Oh, you missed these holidays. I've missed 2 birthdays and 2 Christmases, literally on a plane crossing the international date line. So on 4 occasions, I've missed that day. 2 of them happened to be my birthday. 2 happened to be Christmas, where I didn't get that because I left the day before Christmas. I landed the day after. And when you tell people that, they're like, well, I don't want to miss those occasions, birthdays. And, well, yeah, but that's what you're really asking for when you want this journey. So I demystify it. And this pandemic, to demystify part of this, we all have implicit and explicit biases. And this is where it really, this is where it really gets tricky for people. Like, I'll use myself as an example. Like, the pandemic has been challenging for everyone. It's been challenging for me. When, you know, I know myself, I'm 57 years old now. I can say that now. I'm going to start saying I'm 58 because my birthday's passed. So I'm looking forward to that next year.
Come see, come saw.
Right? So we start asking for it. But I'm 57 years old. And I have created myself through experience. I've had, this is what I think is like my sixth life. I can see 6 different episodes in my life where I have felt different, lived different, thought differently. This is the 6th one coming up right now. And so I've created myself. And anyone who meets me throughout different periods in life, that's how they know me. Now, if I go back home to Kentucky, you know, they know me as Little Stevie, you know, Picklehead Steve, whatever the, you know, that little kid, right? And they let you remember real easy. But I have this image, I have this explicit bias about myself, life, this image I've created of myself. And when something happens, when I'm under pressure and something happens, and one of my implicit biases that I'm not really aware of shows up consistently, and I am that person, undeniably, I am that person. And there's such a discrepancy between who I think I am and how I'm actually showing up. This is a very difficult thing for people to reconcile. It's like, who am I? It's like you don't know yourself. You're acting in a way that doesn't look like who you know yourself to be today. But that's you. That's you. That's you under pressure, under this type of pressure in this moment with the resources that you have available to you right now. And so that's where, instead of us accepting that, because it's just normal, if you can just accept it, you can do something about it. You can say, oh, wow, look at me. Who knew? I didn't know. And then you can start making choices and start working on it. But that's not what most people do. What we do is we deny it. We blame other people. You made me this way. The pandemic made me this way. That person coming out. We start looking for other reasons why we're acting in this exceptional way that we don't normally act. No, this is you. And the thing about the pandemic is it's unforgiving and it's relentless. It's not going away. We're not going back to life as it was. Life was changing anyway. Technology, everything was changing anyway. The pandemic just accelerated it. And now we're here. So there's no going back to that. It's just, what is the new normal going to look like? And what I'm pushing for is a better normal, not just a new normal, because a new normal could be crappy. It doesn't have to be good. So what's the better normal that we're going to build from here? And I'm telling you, mental, emotional, spiritual, and social health, which is what's hitting me in the face personally right now. It's starting to get looked at, but for a long time it was overlooked.
Survival
especially if you're in high
skills.
performance.
That's what I'm hearing. Survival skills. All right. So listen, if you're just tuning in, this is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We are live. The call-in number is 310-928-7733. We're going to be right back. Mr. Steve Anderson is sharing a lot of pertinent information for your lifestyle, for survival, for success.
For thrival.
And for mental clarity. We'll be right back.
Hey there, Detox Jenny here. Is your digestion poor, painful, or just plain stuck? If so, please consider doing a short 3 to 10 day juice cleanse with my company, Earthly Juices. You can visit us at bringmejuice.com. You will be surprised what a difference a short cleanse can make within your body and your overall well-being. Our organic farm-to-table juice cleanses are handcrafted to exclude your allergies and geared towards solving your health issues. Call 310-404-6804 and mention this show and receive a free quart of juice with your first order. You can also find us at www.bringmejuice.com. Or you could write us your detox questions at earthlyjuices@gmail.com. We can't wait to bring that juice to your doorstep.
I tell myself again and again, I'm happy about my favorite juice from gin. I tell myself again and again, well, earthly juices, they make the best juice cleanse.
Hi, this is Dr. Nathan Rabb Jr., host of The Natural Way, which you can hear live on InnerlightRadio.com every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On The Natural Way, you will learn about alternative strategies to common medical practices to overcome some of the most common physical and mental maladies in the world today. The program is a live call-in show, so you can engage me by calling 310-928-7733 with your health-related questions. For private consultations, please call my office. That's at 310-419-4372. You can also reach me on the web at Dr. Dr. Nathan, Nathan, Rabb, Rabb.com. Be sure to tune in to The Natural Way every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, live on InnerlightRadio.com. The healing frequency. I'm Dr. Nathan Rabb. We see you on the air. Peace.
Historically, our ancestors lived 100% organic and natural, simply grazing off the green earth with fresh fruits and vegetables and blue oceans filled with seafood. Allowing your mind, body, and soul to be naturally healthy is how we were meant to live during this journey of our lives. We invite you to visit The Lifestyle Store. Once again, The Lifestyle Store, for all of your family's health and wellness needs. Simply click on The Lifestyle Store at www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Keep this in mind. Health is the new wealth.
And we're back. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. All right. Steve, can you share any information with our audience on the youth?
Wow. So, yeah, I love this question. You got me on that one. You got me. Yeah, so I have a 13-year-old with a son, and it's a very interesting journey. But I get to see the world through his eyes, and it's really interesting. Like I said, I'm 57, he's 13. I would be a very different 30-year-old dad than I am as a 57-year-old dad. Mm-hmm. And I'm really paying attention and trying to see this world, not the world I grew up in or the world that I know, but see the world as he's seeing it. And this is such a challenging time for young people. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So this is one of my missions. Young people, I grew up in a neighborhood in Louisville, Kentucky. It was a middle-class neighborhood. The factories all went away. Then you had people with college degrees competing with people with no high school education for the same factory, like for jobs, minimum wage jobs. So it was that way for a while, and it got really tough. And it was hard for people to aspire to anything because there wasn't the belief that there was a real opportunity or that they had the resources to make those opportunities, real and deliverable, deliver some sort of real outcome. So people don't aspire. They don't aspire too much. And that's what I'm seeing with young people right now. It's the pandemic really has exaggerated this. But even before then, young people have really stopped aspiring to, they don't dream and believe that those dreams can be real. Like what I talked about with President Obama, you can be president. And I think some of that's technology. Young people are exposed to so much. You can't lie to them. You can't hustle them. You can't.
You got to watch out for them hustling you now because they have the technology.
Because everybody is an entrepreneur and a hustler, right? It's my 13-year-old has a channel, a TikTok channel. He's got 100 some odd followers. He just started the thing last week. You know, it's crazy. Wow. So, and that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is you really couldn't bullcrap your way through results in the past. Either you had results or you didn't. You could lie about it for a while, but eventually someone would find out. Now it's expected that you present yourself through social media as this superstar. Mm-hmm. And people actually believe, the young people actually believe that that guy owns that Ferrari and this, you know, girl, she wakes up like that and that guy goes to sleep. It's just crazy stuff. It really is, right? It's crazy stuff. And they believe that they're supposed to be that way, and when they're not, they're failing. Yeah. And what I noticed through my son is, and this is young people, they equate their behavior and how they're being treated with who their value. Mm. So if they make a mistake, it's not just a mistake. I still have value. I'm still loved. I'm still safe. It's, I made a mistake. I'm a mistake. I'm not worthy. Like, what they do is who they are, you know, until they get to a certain place where they can separate the two. And, but they're being bombarded with so much stuff, and the bar has been, you know, if you're not a millionaire, it used to be if you're not a millionaire by 16, you were failing, something was wrong. Now, you know, they talk about billionaire, trillionaire, you got Bitcoin, all this sort of stuff. I find it to be overwhelming. And what I see with young people is they're just retreating into this virtual world, and they're really not willing, you know, I'm talking like stereotypical situation, but I don't see young people really stepping forward and being willing to fail and learn and grow.
No, I don't see that in a lot of the adults either. I think a lot of people don't recognize that failure is how you learn. And you should actually expect, and really a former coach of mine used to say this all the time. It's a popular saying, there is no failure, there's only feedback. So you have to expect that you're going to try different things, and it's not always going to turn out how you expected them to, or what other people's thoughts and feelings were around that. But that's not failure. To fail is if you don't try or if you quit.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And you mentioned my book before. My book is called The Challenge Makes the Champion, because that's what I know. That's my life story is, you know, with every challenge, there's an opportunity, but you don't have to process it that way. With a challenge, you can be stopped. The challenge can be the barrier, and you say, oh, I retreat to safety. Don't try. I can't go any further. Or you can bump up against a challenge and figure it out, and now you have more solutions. You have a bigger toolbox. And so you can build more. But it really takes a lot of, I don't know if character is the right word. It may be, but character stuff, you know,
presence in the moment, presence of mind. You know, I think a lot of people haven't heard of that concept before. They haven't been taught that theory. So they don't kind of stop and say, okay, how do I process this? They don't have that type of self-awareness. But I think if you ask a better question, you'll get a better quality of life, because the answer that you will get as you learn that is where you build the muscle.
It would be interesting.
That's exactly where you build the muscle.
If I went back to high school just to see what they're teaching everybody, I probably would flip out. I'd probably go, really? Really, guys? This is what's going on?
Well, this should be taught in high schools. These are such critical life skills. And the suicide rate that's been happening since COVID, I mean, suicide rates in teens were going up, and mental health issues in teens were going up rapidly anyways before that. And then the acceleration of it is just heartbreaking.
And the way these kids give up their power these days to other kids, letting them, you know, I just think it's just very, very disheartening. Mm-hmm. You know, someone else can have that much power over you, how you think, and put you in a situation like that. This whole bullying scenario is just crazy. Oh my goodness, 3 minutes to close. I tell you, I didn't realize the time went by that fast. Okay.
We're having fun.
Yeah. We are. Give this opportunity to give out all your contact information that you want to share. Just repeat everything twice so we have it on the recording, just in case he pulls the plug on us.
Okay, that was for me, Johnathan?
Yes. Give out all your contact, whatever you want to share, this, that, and the other. Repeat everything twice so they get a chance to write it down before. I don't want to run out of time. I'll even for you to get a chance to do that.
Yeah, awesome. So I want to start with what I wanted to really talk about is this small business is essential. So our website is SBE, like Small Business Essential, United.org. Like I said, it's a nonprofit. It's it's focused on helping people through the pandemic, how to keep the businesses open, and it's all about uniting and adding prevention and protection to the solution with the pandemic instead of just recovery. SBE United.org. Right now we're revamping the site, but you can go to SBECanada.org and sign our petition. We got about 11,000 people who've registered to organization and who are signing the Small Business Protection Act. And that's an act that helps the whole government accountable with some real metrics, transparent metrics that they have to follow before they can put us in lockdown. And lockdowns are necessary when you're in a crisis, like when this thing was first discovered. But in an emergency where we know how to manage it, lockdown is not the strategy because it affects both health and economy. It's really about safe practices or unsafe practices. So safe space first is our goal and message. How do we keep our spaces, our businesses safe? What are the practices that we have to take on to keep those spaces safe? So regardless of the threat, we can keep our businesses opening and keep our communities healthy and safe. We can't have one without the other. We can't just open up and without being safe because we'll be in a worse position than we started. But we can't close down the economy just because there's a threat. If the threat is unmanageable, lock it down. You have to lock down in a crisis situation. But in an emergency like what we're under, there is a way through compliance, there's a way through safe practices to keep everyone healthy and keep the economy moving. So that's really the one that I'm working on right now.
Okay. And we'll get you back on to talk about that too at the top of another show. Give you 10 minutes to roll into that because I think people need to understand because more people became entrepreneurs in the pandemic, I think, than probably many other times in life. So we appreciate you going through and sharing that. And I want to thank you for being a guest today, Dr. Franc. Thanks for having this wonderful gentleman on. Steve, I'll be in contact with you. I've got that contact over there for you. I think something great's going to be there. Appreciate everybody listening this week. Listen, Dr. Rabb, get out there. Have yourself a great week. Everyone, help somebody. Share some love. Have a great week.
Peace.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Get yourself together.
Thank you for joining us on the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We are a globally hosted show dedicated to sharing holistic lifestyle events, practitioners, products and services, and useful information. Visit our website, createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Of course, our Facebook page is Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We'll see you next week.
Namaste.